and welcome to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 27th day of November 2011. It's a day which I would say is quite busy for us, for our newsroom today, given the number of events that are there. Let's start with one which is going to be graced by His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, which is the Kenya Innovation Week 2023. This event is going to be taking place in South Sea and Nairobi at the Edge Convention Center, and it is dubbed, about the Commonwealth. How do we bring back all of this week? And remember that this is one of the projects that is under the Ministry of Youth Affairs, the Digital Economy and Sports. So that is the one live event that we will be taking later, because, looking at the split screen, those are the people who will be attending that event that is happening that's going to be happening rather today, and this is in South Sea, Nairobi. So look out for that event, as we shall be bringing to you the live broadcast of that. Then also we have got the Cabinet Secretary, Rebecca Miano, is meeting with staff at the Kenya School of Government. This is so as to outline, and this is at around noon, to outline what is expected of all those in her ministry. We've got the National DEA-SIP Family Planning Learning Conference. It's happening in Nairobi, and the TVET CDCC handing over. So those are just some of the stories that we shall be following up on. On the sport side, definitely I can inform you that Botswana are here for Wednesday's encounter with the Harambee Starlets qualifying for the Women's AFCON 2024 that will be hosted in Cote d'Ivoire. It's the first leg of the final round of qualifying. And also remember, we've got the Sekafa Under 18 Boys Championship taking place in Kisumu. Today is a rest day for all the teams, and action resumes tomorrow when Kenya plays Rwanda at noon at the Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium in Mamboleo in Kisumu. Now, moving on to our conversations that are on today when it comes to sports. We're going to be talking about netball, and we're talking about the men's netball team and also the women's netball team, who are going to be representing Kenya at the upcoming African Netball Cup that's taking place from tomorrow through to the 6th of December in Botswana. I know you're asking, you said men's netball. Yes, men's netball, it does exist. It's a sport that for a long time was only played by the ladies, but things have changed. There are men who are coaches, and so we're going to be talking about that and understand the team that has been selected, predominantly from Kenya Prisons and Ulinzi, Ganek, and also Kakamega County. So that is going to be the second conversation as we get ready to join the launch of the Innovation Week. But also let's talk about cycling. And we are joined by one of the pro cyclists in Kenya, Ndungu Kia, who is with us in studio. Ndungu, welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right. And you can see he's come with his road bike over here. He's going to be telling us all about it and what it means, and the fact that there is a little sticker somewhere, which is from the global body that governs cycling, the UCI. So he's going to be telling us all about that. As we continue with this conversation, remember to get interactive. Our Twitter handle is at KBC Channel 1. And then our hashtag Sports Check KBC. Our sign language interpreter within these is Lensa Odingo. Now let's start with Ndungu. Thank you for being here with us. First of all, it's a journey for someone to engage in a sport like this, which is one, physically demanding and also calls for time. How did you let's just background this, getting yourself into cycling as a profession?
It started when I was in high school. I was very active in Genya High School. That's where I studied. Mm-hmm. And I used to do long distance running, and I would represent Kenya in inter-schools competitions. But I was at day school, so I used to commute with the Black Mamba from home to school.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like...
Okay, just which long distance running, which event were you running?
The marathon, yeah.
No, I mean, we don't have marathons in high school. 5,000, 10,000?
Mainly it was half marathon. That's what the cross-country one. Mm-hmm. That one I used to love it, and it has a history back still in primary, because I studied in Limuru Model Primary School. So it's been something which is within me, and I knew I'm a sporty person. So after joining high school, doing my commute with my Black Mamba, so I had to remove the back seat, and then when the season in the evening, I put it back, take milk to the dairy, and then go back home. In the morning, I take the seat off, go to school, come back. That's
the carrier seat.
Yes, the back seat, the one now you put the milk in.
Yes.
Yes, so I remove the seat, and then I go with the bike to school, and it grew as a habit, and I fell in love with it. And after high school, I asked myself, where would I want to be? Who will I be in this life? What really makes me happy? And I had two options, either to continue with my studies or pursue my passion. And I decided I'll go with my passion. And I remember my parents were not okay with it for the first time, because it's not something which is common. It's not something which is common. So I told my parents, I'm not studying anymore. I want to follow my passion. I want to follow my career, which is cycling, and they were not happy about it. But now, after the results and everything, they are proud of me, and they are proud I made the decisions I made.
Now, let's just take, did they tell you, Edwin, you need to leave home now, or?
No, they didn't chase me away. They were okay with it, but you could see that the vibration which we had and the communication with the parents was not as before, you see. And luckily, I had a chance to go to Eldoret in cycling training camp in Iten, in Kenyan Riders. So that's where I stayed for some few years and came back.
Now, just tell me about, moving from Limuru and then going over to Iten to get into the Kenyan Riders camp.
Yes.
What was that experience for you, the moment you got into a proper riders camp the first time?
The main purpose why I went there is because I was eager. I could see in the internet people riding bikes, doing tricks on the bikes. They had the skill. And the only person who I had at that time was Nelson Kanja. Thanks to him, he supported me with a good bike, and he made sure that I went to Kenyan Riders. And the main purpose was to know how to train, know how to handle bikes, know how to maintain bikes. And I'm happy that Simon Blake, Kelon Fitzpatrick, and Nicholas Young, and then Nixon Sewe was the mechanic. So he assisted me with the bike maintenance, and the coaches Simon and Kelon taught me on how to train to be a good athlete. Yes. What's
the regime? And by the way, the pictures that you're seeing here are from the Rwanda Epic, where Edwin finished second last month, this month.
Yes,
this month. Oh,
yes.
Yes. Earlier this month. So he's going to be telling us about that later. But just take us through the training regime and what is so different because from what you knew in Limuru and what you found in Iten.
So one of the basic things is that when I was in home, I used to train every day hard. I used to go every day hard. And when I joined the Kenyan Riders team, I found that there is a strategy, there is a way that you're supposed to train. For example, in a week, you train 6 days in a week. You don't go hard all the 6 days. You have 2 days rest, and then the rest you divide into a long ride and intervals. And you do weights. Back at home, I never do weights. Yeah, you might wonder, I'm this slim, but the weights I'll do are mainly for the lower body, for my quads, my hamstrings. That is what we do on the gym. And it's not to be bulk, but to be lean and powerful. Yes.
So what was your experience then when you had to be told, let's get down and do weights?
I was okay. I had made a decision when I went to Kenyan Riders. I was willing to go to the extreme. Whatever it will take for me to be the best, I was willing for it. So we went for the gym. It was hard for me because I never knew all these activities like lunges, deadlifts, squats, front squats. So it took time for me to adapt, and when I adapted, was perfect.
Now, what about what you call the long rides? And because most people have seen long runs, we know about Kenya's marathoners. We know there are days when they take those long runs and the intervals. Now, put it into the cycling context, what you mentioned.
So for the long ride, mainly I normally do one long ride per week, plus it will depend the race that I'm preparing for. If there is no big event I'm preparing for, one long ride is okay, which varies from 4 hours to 6 hours.
Non-stop?
Yeah, the only thing you will stop is to refill your water or to get something to eat, but mainly we are all full sorted. And sometimes you have a support person, like in Kenyan riders, we had Patrick, who used to come with the border behind us and supply whatever we needed.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next thing is the interval day. The interval days, you find that there are also several types of intervals. There is a VO2 interval. VO2 means the power that the amount of oxygen your lungs can hold and supply to the body. And that one you do intervals of 6 to 12 minutes. You rest 4 to 2 minutes. You do it 3 times to 5 times. And then there is a short interval of 15 to 50 seconds. And then you recover 1 minute. You do it 5 times, 2 sets. So it all depends on the race that you're preparing for. Yes.
Okay, we'll be coming to that so that you tell us about how you prepare for those intervals. Nongoke is a professional cyclist, so talking about the intervals, and you see there's time trial, there's a road race, there's mountain biking, so he's going to tell us how each one of them works and what kind of toll it takes on your body. But right now, we have got the Kenya Innovation Week, and it's being launched today at the Edge Convention Center in South Sea. Right, so now we continue with our conversation, and this is purely about sport, and we're talking about pro cycling. We're with Nongoke, who is a professional cyclist. And, he's just been taking us through the everyday life of a cyclist. For him, having finished second at the Rwanda Epic this year, and this was an event which was on a team basis. His teammate would have liked to be here, Bobby, but that's not the case. So here you let me come to you, Ndongo, because as you tell us, about training every day. You've told us about intervals that you do depending on the events. Now take us through the cycling events. Let's start with mountain biking. How do you go through this?
So first of all, to be clearly the type of disciplines I do, cycling mainly people think it's one sport in general, but it is divided into very many disciplines. One of all, you have mountain bike, and mountain bike itself, it has 3 more classes inside itself. We have downhill, we have enduro, we have cross country, we have cross country Olympics. When you go to road cycling, you have...
Okay, let's start with mountain biking.
Okay.
Then, so you've mentioned 4 of them.
Yes.
So, first of all, is downhill.
Yes.
You just explain that. For example, the pictures that we're seeing here of the Rwanda Epic, that would be cross country.
Yes, that is a cross country marathon. And in the Rwanda Epic, we had 2 stages in cross country Olympic. Cross country Olympic is a short circuit, mainly 3.5 kilometers or more.
Wow.
And then you go round it several times. It might be 8 laps, 7 laps, and you get the fastest to do that. The challenging part about this short distance, it's very, very technical. Very technical. I remember when I was in Scotland this year doing the World Champs, there was a gap jump of about 2 meters, and you have to fly over. And for me, those things, they are not here in Kenya.
So what do they give you a ramp?
Yeah, there is a ramp for takeoff. which is not wooden. It's just natural, and then they manicure it, and then there's a big jump over there, and then you have to go over it. And it's frightening for the first time.
So what was it like for you, by the way, when you do that?
For me, I didn't do it. So there's always an option. There's always the first option, and the B option, and the C option.
Okay, okay, now you're getting deeper. What's the A option?
The A option is the hardest part, like that jump, doing over that jump. And then the B is hard, but not as risky as the A one. And then you have the C, which is rollable by everyone. And I thank the UCI for putting into consideration not everybody can do all those obstacles.
Oh.
Yeah.
But 2 meters, okay, let me just put it into context what 2 meters is. Think of the standard door in your house. The standard door in your house, and look at the height of that door.
Yeah.
That is what we'd be talking as 2 meters.
Yeah.
So, truly, because I'm looking at one of the doors in the studios here, and I can really see it's quite some distance.
Yeah.
So, you've mentioned that. There is, then just tell us more about downhill.
So, downhill is a race of speed. As it says, downhill. Mainly they are taken up a hill, and then it's divided into segments, and then your time is taken from point A to point B, how fast you can descend. So that one is mainly on speed, and mostly they wear full face helmet, they wear guards, knee guards, shin guards, and everything, and they check how fast you can go down the hill. Yeah. And
because I've seen downhill competitions, I can see that there is always, you'll find that there are places where when they set this track, you have to actually
take off. Yeah.
Take off.
Yes.
And land.
Yes, you have to take off. So you must be aware of all these techniques. Yes.
And when you're doing now the intervals for mountain biking, how do you go through them? Because you mentioned that these intervals are different.
Yeah. So on a mountain bike, you do it on an off-road. The same terrain you are prepared, like for when I was preparing for Rwanda, I had to take my mountain bike off to imitate what I'll go and find in Rwanda. And it was raining here, and in Rwanda it was raining. I would wake up despite the rain, still train together with Bobby on the terrain that we will find there in Rwanda. Because I have this question, people always ask me, why are you riding when it's raining? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, in the competition, there won't be like, whoever trained when it's raining and not raining, they have this marginal gains. No. It's all about the discipline and the consistency. So I had to train on the rainy days to perfect on that skill.
Well, and talking about training on rainy days, just look at the pictures on your screen, and that is the terrain he had to cycle in when doing the Rwanda Epic. Those were the conditions.
Yes. Yes, and for me and my partner, we were flying. Like, we are enjoying this because you are used to. You're not afraid of the rain. You're not afraid of the slippery sections. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, actually, and finishing second, because this was your most recent cross-country event, finishing second with Bobby Joseph. You are the duo, you are known as Team 48.
Yes.
What was that name picked first?
It was Team 48, like... They decided to put that, but the main guys behind the Rwandan Epic were Giant Kenya, which supported with the fights and everything. My partner Bobby was riding a Giant bike, and I was riding a Trek bike. And the guys behind me were Mizuno and Yokora Sports, who assisted me with everything. And the kits, like the kit I'm wearing, it's from Verocchio Apparel. So it's been a collaboration of well-wishers pushing us and giving us the support. And I can say it was a good success.
All right. Yes, they finished second behind Daniel Gathoff and Bart Klaasens. They are from Germany. And just taking a look at the time difference here, 57 minutes. Those guys must have been flying.
Yeah. Like Daniel he's been in the industry for long. He's been professional for many years. He has the skill set. He has everything he needs. Mm-hmm. And that is where we're getting. And so far, it was a big achievement for me, and I'm happy we made it through.
Okay. So that's mountain biking. And so there's basically, you mentioned downhill, there's cross country, which is very much like this. There's cross-country Olympics,
Yes.
which is where you go around the circuit.
Yes.
The other one you mentioned is enduro.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Enduro is a part or similar to downhill, but enduro doesn't have the crazy jumps that you see. Enduro is more about the speed and the technicality on the corners and the rocky places. And here in Kenya, we have a guy called Ian. I can say he's one of the Kenyans who is doing well in that sector, and he's pushing it, and there are downhill events happening in Kijabi, in Ngong, and they're doing well.
Well, there you've had it. Now, the other one I want to come into is road cycling. Just tell us about that.
So road cycling also is divided into several parts, but mainly we have road cycling, and then we have the time trial cycling. So road cycling is you are all released all at once, and then whoever finishes the line first is the winner. And it's different to time trial. Time trial is checked by how fast can you go from point A to point B. And I can say I've been more successful in the time trial than in the road bike. I have won several races here in Kenya. We have one in Southern Bypass, that road. We have some in the tea plantation in Rimuru, Kiambu, Sasini, and it's been a success. So the difference between road and time trial is time trial you have to, it's a race against time. Its main hard part is your threshold of pain endurance, because it's very painful. And when it pains, I've had so many conversations with people, they let go. And for me, the trick is when it pains, just hold it, just hang in there. And I think that's how I've been successful in the time trial.
And we've seen these indoor events, cycling
Yes.
indoors.
Yes.
Just tell us about those.
So it's like an arena, and it's called a velodrome.
Yes, the velodrome.
So in that velodrome, they ride with bikes similar to a road bike, but they don't have gears. It's called a fixie. It has one big cock on the front and a small one at the back, and doesn't have brakes. And you can't free pedal. You always have to pedal forward. And we have different type of races. We have a race where you race as many people, just like a road race, and you have a race where you are checked how fast can you go or how many laps can you do in a certain period of time.
Aha. Well, you've mentioned about bicycles, and he's got he's got a bicycle here, and maybe Brian, maybe we could just move forward so that we're able to see the bicycle and the equipment that he uses, and we can actually now take a look at it, in simple terms, and you can take us through, first of all, your equipment.
Yes.
Let's start from the top.
Yeah, so you always, rule number one, you always wear a helmet whenever you are out on a bike. The second one, I always love to wear my sunglasses. So the helmet, glasses, come to the cycling kit, which mainly they are tight because of aerodynamics, not to get wind resistance. Then you have your cycling shorts, and then the shoes.
Actually, let's take a look at the shoes so that we understand them.
So the shoes are quite different from the normal shoes. The shoes I have, they have this, a clip, which is attached to the pedal here. Let me just show you. So you just clip in, and you are one with your bike. So this helps whenever you want to bunny hop. It gives efficiency when you're pedaling your bike. So you and your bike, you are mainly one thing. So from there,
you've used a term, bunny hop. What is that?
Bunny hop is when you have like a ditch, or you see in Kenya we have so many rainbow strips, like 3 rainbow strips or 4.
Also where you're not on the seat.
Yeah, no, like the Rambos, what you do, you move from your seat, you come here, and then your bike, you just hop your bike like as you hop the bike over the Rambos, or there is a pothole on the road.
Yes.
You just bunny hop it.
Also you jump.
Yes, it's sort of you jump it.
Okay.
Yes.
Very well. Now this is a road bike.
Yes.
And each of these, just take us through each of these. and how it functions now.
So we can start with this one. So this is more of my dashboard. This indicates to me the speed I'm going. If I'm going somewhere I don't know, I'll put the map here and it will direct to me where I need to go. This is my Garmin computer. It also indicates my heart rate. If we also train via our heart rate monitors, and it's synced to...
How do you sync it then?
we wear a strap, which is we wear here. It's the same strap that runners wear, and then it can indicate to your Garmin, and you can know how fast you're going according to your heart rate and your maximum heart rate. You're able to calculate the numbers and know how to go about it.
Good. The rest of it, and the cogs and the tires, and how you use them. For example, you were racing with this in Nairobi.
Yeah, this is the bike I was racing yesterday with it at Grand Nairobi. So the tires are Victoria, and they are tube race, and this bike is carbon. Also the wheels, they are carbon. Mainly everything is carbon apart from these small nuts over here.
Basically, it's the chain.
Yeah,
and everything else, but everything else is carbon fiber.
Yeah, it's a very light bike. So now we come here. This is the front crank, and it has a power meter, and this is a 44-tooth crank. So it has a power meter which is signed to my Garmin over here, so I can see how much power I'm producing. Then you come to the Lear shifter derailleur. It's electronic. This is the new version, so it doesn't have any cables.
So it's not what we're used to, flipping.
No. So you just a tap of a button here, and you see this light over here. It blinks, and that's how you shift. This battery is removable. This is what you go and charge, and it goes for miles and miles before it goes low. Plus, if it goes low, it shows you on your Garmin it's low.
So basically, the entire bicycle is connected to...
Yes, to my Garmin.
To your Garmin, which is your dashboard.
Yes.
Very well. And there's... if this is a road bike, I mean, let me think of Tour de France.
Yes.
You would use this?
Yeah, a similar bike would do. Thin tires, crank would be bigger, the crank would be 2. This one, this is one set, and there's always one with has 2 by. We call it 2 by, so this is a 1 by. Yeah. And now we have the seat. This is a 3D print, and it's from Physique, and so far it's a very good seat, and yeah.
All right. Now, mountain bikes.
Yes.
If you are just to demonstrate, they have shock absorbers.
Yes. So for the mountain bike, we have a hardtail and a soft tail. A hardtail, it has only one suspension at the front, and it is the typical bike I was using in Rwanda. And a soft tail has 2 suspensions, one on the front and another one at the back. The main purpose of a hardtail is to do cross country where there is no obstacles like rock garden. You don't have to do crazy jumps. When you have to do rock garden and the terrain is very technical, that's when now you have to do with a soft tail, the one which has 2 suspensions. Yes. That's the only difference between this bike and a mountain bike. Plus now the aerodynamics and everything. And the brakes, you can see it has a disc, so for efficiency and everything, you are sure no matter how much speed you're carrying, your brakes are good to go.
So it's not like the others which are usually...
No, the rubber one.
The rubber one.
No.
Like the Black Mamba you started with.
Yes. So this is the new evolution, and the disc is good, and they are always efficient.
Well, very well. So we can place it there and get back. So there, you've had a full demonstration of a competition bicycle, and now let's get back, continue with this conversation. Ndongo, you basically have got experience, representing the country, and at different levels. And let's start with your first entry. Into competition. It was
Morocco.
Yes. 2019. Yes. The African Games.
Yes.
And You were doing the road running.
I was doing mountain bike.
Mountain bike.
Yes.
Just give us your experience there. You were getting called up first to the national team.
So how I managed to get called on the national teams is they had scouts who would go to these events, the local events. They see how people are racing, how well disciplined you are, how good are you at communicating, how well focused are you, how well disciplined are you, how well ambitious are you. And I was hungry. I needed that exposure because I knew what I wanted. And I believe in one thing, that where I am now and the situation I'm going through now, it's all because of me. And where I will be the next few years, either good or bad, it's all about me. I made these decisions years back. So it was not a surprise when I got selected. I knew the path because I created it. And
how many years did it take you to get called up? This is 2019 February, so which means the call-ups were done late 2018.
Yes.
And you left high school in which year?
2015 is when I finished high school. Yeah.
So 2016, 3 hard years.
Yes, 3 hard years. Day in, day out, rain or shine, I had to be on my bike. And that's when I got the recognition of joining the national team. And I went to Morocco and I did the event. It didn't go as I had planned because it was challenging. It was my first big exposure. But I had the experience and I knew now it was all upon me to go back, train hard, and keep polishing myself and come back stronger.
What are the key things, what are the key lessons for you in Morocco at the African Games?
The key lessons was mainly you have to prepare early in advance. You have to well equipped, well knowledgeable of all these things. Plus I knew one thing which I didn't have at that time. In sports, it takes time. All I knew I had to do is be patient, be consistent, do the things I know I'm supposed to do, and within time, you get there. There is no way you can give birth to a child today and you can expect the child to start working tomorrow. I was new in the industry, you see. Right now it's been almost 8 years down the line, and you see now it's when it's starting to pay. Like in sports, it takes time. It takes time. So I knew one thing, learn these things. If you make as many mistakes as you can for the first few years, learn from them. And then when your time comes, you'll be okay and you'll start seeing the fruits of your hard work and effort.
Now, let's also talk about other experiences with the national team.
Yes.
Let's go to last year in Birmingham.
Yeah. So last year I did the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, and they were okay. And there is something I'm campaigning on the cycling we have here in Kenya. And so far we are headed to the right direction. The terrain that you find in these big international events is totally different to what we find here in Kenya. You see, there I did the XCO. It's a short track, the one I said, with so many challenges. We had a place where we had a vertical, a purely vertical, all was stones. Your bike has to go vertical, you see. And if you're not courageous and you don't know how to handle your bike at this type of terrain, which was rocky and everything, and the place was very narrow, you get a shock. Your body will go on a shock. I'm grateful I managed to go over it, and now we are pushing that we start having these things and the races that are in Kenya to imitate what we have in the outside the international event. So when guys like me and the next generation participate in this event, they won't go through the same shock I went through.
Okay, just explain that circuit in Birmingham so that people can understand. Because when you talk about a vertical and how you basically balance your body, because we have normally, I mean, everyday cyclists.
Yes.
And it gets to that.
Yes.
Because of a tendency to lean forward.
Yes.
You find yourself rolling.
Yes. So, rule number 1, which is always there, and I was taught by my coach Simon, always look where you want to go, and you go where you look. That's rule number 1.
Look where you want to go?
And you go where you look.
Where you look.
For example, And you can put this, either it's a motorbike you ride or it's a car you are driving. If you look at a certain object, you always hit at that object because that's where you are looking at. So in mountain bike, you have trees, you have rocks, you have all these obstacles. So you always look where you want to go. On that vertical rocky place, the trick you have to do is you lean back a little bit. You put yourself back a bit. The second thing, if you are to use your brakes, you touch it 1%. The rest of it, you concentrate the tension on your back brake. Because if it skids, it's okay. But when your front wheel skids, you're gone.
You're flipped.
Yeah, you're flipped. So you put your weight a little bit back. You look where you go, and don't stiffen yourself. Just be calm. Look where you go. Have confidence on your bike, and you just go.
Well, now looking at what's been happening is that this is a career path that you've taken.
Yes.
The biggest cycling name we can mention to have come through the Kenyan system, actually won a bronze in 2007 at the African Games, Chris Froome.
Yes.
What are the opportunities now that are there for you as a pro athlete in cycling?
I can say for the past 5 years, cycling was not that okay, but now we are spoiled for choice. Like there is a camp, or there is an international team called Team Amani, which has been here now for, this is the 3rd year, and they have a team where they have guys who ride internationally, and Sule, Mikel were one of the founders of it, and Sule passed on when he was racing in US. May his soul rest in peace. Yeah, it was a sad situation, but we keep his legacy on, and the best thing we can honor him is by keeping riding and being the best we can on the bike, because that is what he wanted us, and that is why he was creating all these opportunities for us to be at the best and to showcase that in Kenya there is a talent which is not yet recognized, and that is cycling. And the best thing we can do of it is keep riding. So we have Team Amani, we have Ineos, they have a camp in 10. Loop, they'll be organizing a series of events which...
Let's talk about Ineos, because that is Froome's team. He's been with Ineos.
Yeah, he's been with Ineos.
Yes.
And they have a camp in Kaptagat. And the guy who won yesterday's race is from there. And it's doing a very good job.
Because you mentioned Kaptagat, and Eliud Kipchoge is also trains at Kaptagat.
Yes.
So they're basically neighbors.
Yes. They're in the same compound. Yes.
Wow. That's a story that Patrice Sang will have to tell me one time about having introduced that biking camp there. And what are you seeing from these teams that are here?
People who are focused and they know what they want in life, the chance is there. It's just give them the opportunity. We are giving now it's all now upon us as riders, us as Kenyan riders, to showcase that we are worth it. Because the opportunities are there, everything is there. Like this bike, it's a test of the new next year's edition. The bike is from Team Amani, which all goes well, I'll be looking forward to join them next year. So it's all upon us as cyclists. If you're disciplined, if you're consistent, if you know what you want in life, and if you have committed your life to cycling, the opportunity is there.
Well, interesting. I've just noticed something on this bicycle.
Yes.
This is a test for next year.
Yes.
So ideally you're testing equipment.
Yes.
Competition equipment.
Yeah.
So it's not in the market.
No.
Very interesting. We have the prototype, but there's something you've written there, Captain, Friend, Brother.
Yeah.
Sule.
Yes.
Thank you. It's very, very encouraging that you have done that.
Yeah.
So ideally now, when this is out, what's the feedback you're giving? Because you're the equivalent, it's what somebody would call a test driver now.
Yes, it's a test driver, and so far I like it. It's a frame size 56. Mainly I'm a tall person, mainly I would do 58, but I love a lesser bike by one frame because of the handling, the cornering, and I feel more comfortable and more faster on a smaller frame. So on this bike we have the custom seat. And then now because everybody has different geometries and everything, that's why I have this bike to test on the handlebar, the crank length, the seat, which type of seat I want, and then I write down and I give the report on what I want to do and what bike I would prefer to use next year and what components I would prefer on my bike.
Wow, quite interesting. And from the feel of Nairobi's roads, just taking a look at this bicycle that is on display now, what is it that you feel that could be improved, could be tweaked eventually?
Because the first phase of these bikes, we had the guys who joined the team earlier, Jordan Shrek, Kenneth Karaya, Jeffrey Rangat. They had a test of these bikes, and when they came first, they were not hardened for the Kenyan roads. So they produced the second and third version of them, which is more hardened and it's capable of handling the Kenyan roads. So it's a perfect bike, perfect for the Kenyan roads.
Wow. Now, Bobby, I think after you came back from Rwanda, Bobby went out.
Yeah.
What are the racing opportunities out there for Kenyans?
Bobby went out and courtesy of Giant, they sponsored him and he went there and did the world championship in elimination race, and he had a good experience, and that is what I always look for and advise people to go. If you get a chance, go there, give your best, come, learn, polish yourself from that, and if you know what you want, you get the results. Like the results from Rwanda, I wouldn't have had the results from Rwanda if it was not for the help of the Kenyan Cycling Federation, the trust they had in me, the exposure they gave me, and still the consistency I had for myself and everything, and help from my family and friends, which made it possible. Yeah.
We are headed into an Olympic year.
Yep.
Just tell us, what opportunities are there for someone to break through this, because we know competition to making the cut for the Olympics and knowing the names that show up at these events. The people who are doing the Giro d'Italia, the Vuelta, there are those who are doing the Tour de France. What's required?
So for cycling to qualify for the Olympics, you need to gather UCI points. So UCI is Union of Cycling International. That's the body that governs cycling the whole world. So they have their races, which when you go to a certain race, you gather points. When you win a race, you gather points. When you win a championship, you gather points. So those points accumulate within the year of one Olympic to the other. And whoever have certain higher points gets the chance to qualify to the Olympics. We are happy that a lady will be representing Kenya in the Olympics, who is a mountain biker. We went with her in Glasgow and Scotland, so I wish her all the best. Is Nancy Akinyi. Yeah, so I wish her all the best, and it's doable. She has proven to us that it's doable. Yeah.
So to get onto the UCI circuit, just what is required of you? Because the competition there is brutal. I have seen those competitions and they are very, very tough.
Yeah, so it all comes to a good platform. And this is where the corporates should turn into cycling, give us the support and the help. And we are grateful for all the corporates who have always stuck with us and made us who we are today, because if it was not for them, we wouldn't be here. And also for the race organizers, thank you so much for everything you've always been doing for us. We need a good platform where it's established that the races out there, like in South Africa, we have so many races, UCI races. So we can send 2-3 people there, South Africa. They race there, they accumulate the points. They go maybe to Namibia, there is a race there, which is UCI approved. They go, they race there. That's how you accumulate races in mountain bike. Also on road race, that's how you accumulate. You need to participate in these global events, these global races, like a tour in Ethiopia, like Rwanda, race around Rwanda, and other races in Africa, out of Africa. That's how you gather points. And at the end of the 4 years, 3 years, they accumulate. Whoever hits the margin qualifies for the Olympic.
Let's talk about the cycling scene in Africa, because we've seen it. And Eritrea produces some of the best cyclists.
Yeah.
It is said that the only Eritrean athletes who don't disappear are athletics and cyclists.
Yes.
Footballers have got it's another story.
Yeah.
It's a story for another day.
Yeah.
But what makes Eritrea that good in this sport?
It's the cooperation, and the corporations there, they help the cycling. They are big races. They are always racing. These guys have the opportunity also to go abroad and do races there. So it's just the exposure, you see, and that is what we've always been fighting for. And I'm grateful also for the Cycling Federation, because I'm a qualified UCI coach, and I'm grateful for them because they're giving opportunities to everyone who wants to go through this education, so that will be the mentors of the next generation. And it's a program which is running very well, and I'm grateful for them.
Getting that badge, what's required of you so that if you're a UCI certified coach?
You need to go to class. You need to go to class and study.
So listen, when did you?
Yeah, I said, yeah.
You don't want to go to. I mean, eventually, if you're going to become a coach, eventually you end up in class.
Yeah, I already went back
not the
to
academic.
Class. Yeah,
path,
but I said, what I didn't say that I will never go to school. I said between cycling and going to campus and everything, right now I prioritize on my bike. But if I need to go to class, I do go to class and I study, and I love studying. I also study books. I do all those stuffs, and I love learning and challenging myself. Yeah.
Just take us through the qualification levels and what pathways are required for you. Because, for example, in football they say when you get your CAF D license, for example, in Kenya, you must coach at a particular level, and then you're qualified now to get your C license, which means by the time you get your B license, then you are probably able to coach at the top division in the country.
Yeah.
For you to coach a team in Africa, you need the A license. A license or the pro license.
Yeah.
How is this graduated?
It's the same. It's the same case also in cycling. You have the level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 1 you're introduced to what training, what coaching, and tries off what you're supposed to do in level 1, what you're not supposed to do. And mainly this is comprises of the entry level, like someone who doesn't know how to ride, they want to come into cycling, how to handle them on the bike, how to maintain your bike, all these things. And then you move on to level 2, level 3. So it goes higher. And the good thing with the UCI license, you can be able to work in any country as long as you are certified for that. Yes.
Which license do you have at the moment?
I am qualified for level 1, which is the introduction to bike, how to maintain bikes, and how to show someone how to ride a bike.
Well, now, bicycle maintenance, because that's something that, I mean, there are those people have got bicycles, we will go to the fundi, the repair technician.
Yeah.
What are the things that everyone must keep checking on a bicycle?
Bikes are very easy to maintain, but they're also very hard if you put it hard. Number one thing you need to always check on your bike is your tire pressure. A must. Before a ride, tire pressure. The other thing is your chain. You have to wipe your chain and put a new lube on your chain. And you do an M check. I normally call it an M check. Is to ensure that every part of your bike is tight enough. That's it.
Okay. Why do you call it M check?
Because it's so you can come from the frame, an M. It's like an M, you see? So
you start with the spoke.
You start with
the hub.
Yes, at the hub. You come up here.
Yes.
And then you go down to the
front,
to the crank where you pedal.
Yes.
And then you come up to the seat, and then you finish with the derail over there. So it's called an M check. Yes. And then now when it comes to maybe you need to change your chain, you need to change your derailleur, you need to change your hub. Mainly I use one person to fix my bike, and that's my previous bike, the one I went to with it in Rwanda. It's with Bicycle Garage. Nixon Sewe is the person who fixes my bike. He knows how I would like my bike to be tuned, and they do a good job, and thanks you to Bicycle Garage for the good job that they always do.
Good. There are people who like their cars tuned. I know with the modern cars, they not much of that happens. But for those who've had the older cars, how do you like your bikes? For example, if it's the release right at the back or the crank up there, how do you prefer it set?
I prefer it not too low. Like I have certain millimeters I like my crank length to be, and that is what he knows I like it to be. Secondary, my indexing is how my gear shifts. I prefer my right hand side to be the gear to go down, and my left hand side is I shift my gear up. That is my taste. The other thing, the tire pressure. I'm a little bit heavy, so mainly I can use 85 to 100 psi.
Hey, where? See, people are moving around here in cars that are doing 35. So this is inflated to...
Right now it's under 80 because yesterday it was raining. It's 80, so I needed my tire to be a little bit gerish so that I would have traction on the wet surface. Yes.
Another of your passions, motorcycles and horses.
Yeah.
First, let's talk about two wheels.
Yes.
Motorcycles. What?
I'm a two-wheel obsessed guy. I love two wheels, and the thing I love is, I don't know why, but I love two wheels. Mainly my favorite one is the GS. They released a new edition which is 1300cc, and that bike is dope. So that's then my target.
That is now that is real biking, a full powerful.
Yes, now it's a machine. Now this one I don't have to pedal. Now that one is I sit on it and I control. Yes.
How did you pick up this?
It's okay. People I've met with people who tell me, Kia, you're so lucky you found your passions, your everything. I found them because I was looking for them. I did very many things and I didn't like them, and I did things that I eventually ended up liking. So the people say like, oh, I don't know my profession, I don't know my career, I don't know what makes me happy and everything. Try different things, open up, and then you'll settle with a few things that whenever you do them, you're always happy.
Good. Horse riding.
Yes. That's the favorite one.
Before this?
Like this is my profession now.
This is your job.
Now if let's say now, because yesterday was my last race of the year, I need now to go off season, clear everything, chill a bit with family and everything, and do activities that I sacrifice not to do so that I have good performance on my bike. Horse riding is the one I do mainly.
How did you pick up that? Because so many people would wish to ride horses.
Yeah. And one thing that came with horse riding is I'm a fan of animals. I love animals, and I love that connection with me and the horse, the direction, the everything, the union which is there. Always, I love that.
Well, very interesting. From somebody who would just place the back seat, the carrier seat of a black mamba, rides that black mamba with milk on it, and is now a professional cyclist. Kea Ndongo,
yes,
pleasure being with you.
Yes.
All the best as you get into the year 2024. It's an Olympic year, and I hope it will be better for you. Thank you for being with us. I know you're headed now to go ride horses.
Yeah.
After riding this all the way to Limuru.
No, I will just find a car back home because I'm not riding anymore. I need to go for season. Yeah, and as we end, I would like to say to everyone out there, either you are young or whatever you're doing, you are the one. You don't look for problems outside or solution outside. You're the only solution to yourself. You're the only one who can make yourself move to the next level. If I made it and I had nothing, you can also make it. And thank you so much for having me, and we're looking forward to a bigger year next year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, and we'll need to get in touch with Akinyi.
Yes.
As she goes to fly the country's flag.
Okay.
So you know how we'll communicate. Thank you very much. Kiandong, who's a pro cyclist, taking us through everything, and you can tell his passion and the discipline, and also helping us explain the kind of equipment that he uses, which is the bicycle that we have got right here. He was using this at the Grand Nairobi race yesterday. We take a short break. When we come back, let's talk netball, women's and men's netball.